Alright, we have real world situation now, and there's a lot of ways to do this. It'd be really easy if we could graph them both, but let's at least talk about, right, what it is with a graph. And this is a circle, so the range of a radio is bound by a circle described by the equation. Since the formula for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, I can see that the circle is centered at 0, 0 because there is no h or k, and the square root of 220, let's try that. Oh, it's not 220, is it? The square root of 2025 is 45. So my radius is 45. So I know the center is 0, 0. And the radius equals 45. So I've got this circle that kind of goes out from here, and I know, for instance, I know this is 45, 0, and I know this is 0, 45. And then we've also got this linear equation right here, right? And if I solve this linear equation, I'm going to go ahead and solve it over here. I got y equals 1/20th x plus 15, right? I know that it crosses at 15, and then it's got a really slight slope, so it kind of goes up like that and over like that, and that's just a quick, we can assume there's probably two solutions. Let's see if we can find those two solutions. So what I'm going to do is this. Alright, I'm going to write both equations down here. Here we go. Alright, we're going to say x squared plus y squared equals 2025. I'm going to y equals 1/20th x plus 15. And I'm going to substitute this value, because it's solved for y, into this, y squared. And then we'll have some work to do. So I'm going to say x squared plus, instead of y, I'm going to write 1/20th x plus 15 quantity squared, right? I just plugged that in my y, equals 2025. So let's play with that, right? If I got 1/20th x plus 15 squared, that's 1/20th x plus 15 squared, right? Times itself. This times this is 1/400th x. Woo! This times this is, oh, that's x squared, right? That is plus, what is that? 15 over 20, so 3/4 x. 3/4 x. If I do this one right here, that's also 15 over 20, which is plus 3/4 x. And then 15 times 15, I believe, is 225, right? So when I plug that in, I get this. I'm just going to combine stuff right here. We got 1/400th x squared, oh my goodness, plus, what is that, 6/4 or 3/2 x plus 225. So here, I'm bringing it over. We're going to do this. So this gives me x squared plus 1/400th x squared. I do not like that number at all, right? Plus 3/2 x plus 225 equals 2025. I'm going to keep going with this, but man, is it ugly. Alright, so if you look at this right here, I actually don't even like this number, because I got to add those two x squared. I get 401/400ths x squared, which is just an ugly number, right? That's 1, which I got to write as 400 and 400, plus 1/400, which gives me 401, right? Plus 3/2 x, and let's subtract 2025 from both sides, minus 2025. I get another ugly number. 225 minus 2025 gives me, oh, I just did that wrong. 225 minus 225 minus 2025 is negative, well, that one's not too bad, negative 1,800. And all this is equal to 0. So I don't like this solution, to tell you the truth. I don't like what we're looking at here, but you know what I would probably do? I would probably get rid of that fraction, because as awful as big numbers are, fractions are very often worse. I don't think I've done anything wrong Yeah, there's no other way to tackle this. So I'm going to maybe we'll multiply both sides by 400, which I don't really like, but it gets rid of this ugly fraction. And if I multiply this whole thing by 400, that gives me 401x squared. Still not too pretty. And that gives me plus 600x minus, wow, that times 400, it's a big number, is 720,000 equals 0. So not the best way to go about this, but you know what? Let's solve for x's. So there's really nothing to do. I would so rather estimate this. If this was something I could estimate and make that a 400, I would do that in a second. But let's go ahead and plug it into a quadratic. So x is equal to negative b, so negative 600, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 600 squared, minus 4 times 401 times negative 720,000, a huge number, all over 2a, which is 802. I'm going to do the best, put this in a calculator, see what it turns out as. Right? And here I go. I've got 600 squared, 600 times 600, plus, right, because those are two negatives, 4 times 401 times 720,000. I get this huge number. So here we go. We're going to go x equals negative 600 plus or minus the square root of, wow, 115524000, all 802. I'm going to go ahead and get the square root of that, and we'll start working up here. But my goodness. So we got the square root of that, and I'm going to approximate. And it would have probably been easier to approximate the 400 earlier than do this now. Plus or minus about 33989. There's no square root there. All right. All over 802. So I'm going to say negative 600 plus 33989 over 802, and then I'm going to say negative 600 minus 33989 all over 802, and let's see what our x values are. So here we go. I'm going to work it out on the calculator. And these are things that I would never make you do without a calculator. And I got about 41. So the x here is approximately 41. Which, you know what? 41 makes sense. If that's 45, that could be 41. And let's do the other one. So clear. 600 minus 33989. And I got x here is approximately 43. And that makes sense too. I might have drawn that a little too sharp. It could be somewhere around here, about a 43, right? And there it is. I'm going to stop here. A stretch of highway. Which points, if any, does the car on the highway enter the broadcast? So I should plug this back in. So I could plug in 40 into any equation, and I think I will. I'll plug in 40, and that's a negative 43. So if I said this, I'm going to plug it back into the circle. 40 squared plus y squared equals 2025, right? That's 1600 plus y squared equals 2025. That gives me y squared equals 2025 minus 1600, which gives me about 425. And when I take the square root of that, I get about 20. Y is approximately 20. So about this point, right, 4020. I'll put it over here. That looks to be about 4020 over there. Let's plug in negative 43. So I plug in negative 43 squared plus y squared equals 2025. I would go ahead and do 2025 minus 43 squared. 2025 minus 43 squared is about 167. So y squared equals 176. And then we'll take the square root, and y is approximately 13. Which could have definitely happened here-ish, right? It could cross about there-ish. And maybe up here. Maybe my line should have been this way. And we will get, or maybe more like this, I guess. Right? And so we get the other point, negative 43 and 13. I think it's important that we do one of these in class, so I'm going to do this one in class. Remind me, depending on the year this is, I may not have done this video this year. So remind me that we should do one in class. I can almost guarantee that this is a test or quiz question because I remember it being on there. So we need to talk about this. Someone come into class and say, hey, you promised we'd do B in class, and we'll keep going from there. See you guys soon.